but we need to get to this. I know we cooked on Walker Buehler stuff all year, and I am pulling some stuff up here, and we will take it from here. Blake, I need you to carry me on here for like 10 seconds, and then I'll join the combo.
So I think everyone knows Walker Buehler's season thus far has been a struggle, to put it nicely. And Buehler himself knows that. If we have his interview up from the other day, if you want to go watch it, if you haven't yet, check it out after this. And he seems like a pitcher who is, I don't want to say broken, but I don't know how else to say it. He's trying to figure out what's going on, and he's trying to make adjustments. And to his credit, he made some of those adjustments that we talked about him making.
Yeah.
But he didn't fully do it, and it came back to bite him. So
yeah,
here we are talking about Walker Buehler again.
Yeah. So Blake and I have been kind of, boisterous when it comes to Walker in terms of, like, I believe in Walker's compete. I believe he'll be stubborn. And when push came to shove, like when he needs to go out in a spot, he's going to absolutely give it everything he's got and not fold. Like he'll stay engaged. He'll give it, give that fire that we're so used to seeing from 21 and stuff we've seen over the years, and why, the Dodgers fan base, fell in love with him. But Walker Buehler, for the first time in his career, dropped the four-seam fastball, but he, just like you said, he didn't. But for the sake of what we're doing right now, we're going to say he did. Walker Buehler threw 32 cutters, 31 sinkers, and 5 four-seam fastballs.
For comparison, Blake? He was at 33% four-seam fastballs for this year so far, and I think that number was even higher previously.
Yeah. So, and like we all have seen it, like if you've paid attention to, like, since this, the sticky substance ban, like you've seen, if you've looked at the advanced data, like his stuff overall has taken a dip, four-seam completely in general. And he was coming back. A lot of the conversation was talking about velocity, and I didn't care about his velocity at all. I wanted to see the spin. I wanted to see how that was looking, and nothing else mattered to me because he has quality secondary stuff. But I really, was paying more attention to that. And once he debuted this year, you could see that fastball just wasn't there. Blake, post-game, listening to Walker, what did he have really to say about the four-seam fastball and why they made this change?
He said his four-seam hasn't been playing up the same way it has previously, which I think that's all what we kind of knew. And we did the whole video about how he needs to drop the four-seam, go to sinker cutter. He took that adjustment, and he was doing pretty well that way. He threw his fastball 5 times and gave up 100% hard hit rate on it. And
including what?
Including the pitch to Corey Seager that ended up being a home run. That was a four-seam fastball. Buehler said he threw that one because he threw Seager everything else already up to that point. But I feel like at that point, go back to your best pitch, or there's a free base. Don't let that one guy beat you.
Yeah.
So Buehler knows his fastball is not good anymore. He described it as in a profane way about his lack of ability on it. So I'm not going to repeat that here, but if you want to go hear what Buehler said, you can go back and listen to that one.
Yeah.
And he's frustrated. He knows it. He said he's sick of being the guy who's kind of searching and not providing results, because throughout his whole career, he's been used to being the big game pitcher that the team can rely on. So I'm sure that's taking a toll on him mentally, and feel bad for him. It's hard to watch him going through it because of all the great moments he's had for the Dodgers, but he's searching for it, and he needs to just fully drop that fastball and kind of pitch like Gavin Stone does, where you're just trying to move the ball off the barrel of the bat rather than looking for strikeouts, because Buehler doesn't have the strikeout stuff anymore. Like, the days of him being an elite strikeout guy way behind us, and I don't think that's going to come back. If it does, I would be very shocked. But I think there is hope where he can be a quality middle-of-the-rotation pitcher just by trying to get soft contact and pitching that way. So credit to him for pretty much dropping the four-seam fastball. Lack of credit to him for being stubborn and going back to it in the biggest moment of the game. Hopefully he learns from
one
that.
Of the best hitters in the league.
Hopefully he learns from that. But yeah, I mean, it's tough to watch right now. And I keep wanting to say, let's give him more time. I know, like, I said I wasn't going to make any, like, firm takes about him fully until we saw him for a few starts, but we're kind of getting to that point where I think he has 7 starts now. I think Buehler himself said it would take him like 8 or 9 starts. So we're kind of getting to that point where he needs to start showing up and showing he can be an effective pitcher rather than what he is right now.
Yeah. And like the more, yeah, really well done. Great job, man. Like that was a really good explanation there. Like that's exactly how I feel. Like I knew that Walker would compete. I knew he would do it. And it was refreshing to really see him because you could see how uncomfortable hitters looked. They looked a little shocked because he was, a lot of sinkers, a lot of cutters, and it was making like those have been both plus pitches. Like just for, a little story on his fastball. If anybody hasn't looked or you haven't looked all year, anyone's facing Walker Buehler's fastball this year was like prime Ohtani. He was giving up like a 1,300 OPS against his four seam fastball, like a slugging percentage of about 800 on his four seamer. And it's a pitch that he just doesn't have anymore. He didn't have a terrible game. He just gave up a lot of contact. It's his first game working with that arsenal. So if you catch us in, 4 more starts and he's been working on this pitch mix, a bunch more, the true test is how it is going into the next one. Do they continue this? And he's just a lot of sinker cutter, because if you look as well, he almost threw no change ups, knuckle curves. He was just primarily sinker cutter, which we've seen from James Paxton too. So they just kind of harp on 2 pitches. And then if they can do it, they could do it. And because he had, I'm not going to say so much success, but because he had like enough where I'm like, he was a 2-pitch guy. And the only thing he got burned on was the pitch that sucks. So it's like, let's not do that. And let's expand the arsenal now by having sinkers and cutters as your big, your main bread and butter, and then go from there. Then you can work on his knuckle curve, which has also been a plus pitch. If you want to toss some change up, sliders, go from there. But as long as he drops that 4-seam fastball, just to, like you said, middle of the rotation arm, like I felt confident. Yeah, Matty, man, I felt pretty solid about Walker Buehler until he gave up the homer. It just felt like in that moment of Corey Seager, just like Walker said, he threw him everything. And then he's just like, F it. Like, I'm just going to toss this in here and it is what it is. And he gave up a bomb and that proved to be the deciding factor because the offense is asleep.